So the flow that I'm demoing to you first is going to be our internal mock employee NPS survey. But the big problem that we solve with Insights right now is if you've ever used SurveyMonkey before, you notice that they have a really nice analytics tool to help you break down, the breakup of the answers, how many people are answering what, who's answering what, and allowing you to kind of drill down and to answer specific questions that you want to ask about your results. So we built this Insights tool to be this first step in allowing you to understand this data on a more granular level. So again, what you saw here, you choose the flow that you own, and then you select this Insights tab to get here. And what I'm going to walk you through is what are the summary insights and what are the trend insights, and how this will function over time. So starting with this employee NPS survey, I'm going to show you a few different types of flows just to give you an idea of how applicable it is to not just surveys. But employee NPS, if you want to gauge how your employees are feeling about working at your company, how likely they are to recommend that working at this company to somebody else, this is a great 2-question survey to ask your customers, or sorry, to ask your employees. And we've done this for the past few days. You can run this as many times as you want. If it's once a month, once a quarter, once a year, it's completely customizable for you. This flow, for the sake of the demo purposes, we run every day to get you some data to look at in this demo. So in the summary tab, we show you an overview first of how many people have responded to this total, and then what's the average participation rate across all of your occurrences. So this will tell you, out of all of the people you have chosen to respond to this, how many of them have responded each of the times that you've run this survey. It'll give you a list here, just a table of everybody that's responded, the dates. Quick note on what an occurrence is. An occurrence in assembly language is when a flow is scheduled to run, or when you run it on demand, that creates an occurrence. Answer anytime is something that requires no triggering, and people can just respond whenever they feel like it. Most of the times the surveys will have occurrences, but just a little distinction for you all as you're going through this. So the occurrence participation rate, we have 47.4% participation rate across all occurrences. I wasn't really on top of the team giving me this demo data towards the end, so not the highest it could be, but still pretty solid. A quick just feature reminder, if you are running a survey and you're not seeing the engagement that you want, while it's running, you can hit this remind button and it will send everybody a reminder to answer this flow. So this is the overview data. You can also, at any point, I'll get into this more, you can filter this by date, department, manager status, and individual participants. I'll demo that in a little bit. So getting into the block by block data. So depending on what the block kind is, if it's a multiple choice, if it's a scale, if it's open-ended, these exports, these graphics might look a little bit different, but how we represent the scale is this bar chart that shows you, okay, throughout all of the survey responses, people have only ever said 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see 21 people over the course of all occurrences have said 10, when we tell you the percentage of the total participants, and so on and so forth down there. So this is the first block. It's just a straight scale showing you, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to refer working here to a friend or ex-colleague? And then we follow that up with explain why you chose this number above. And so this gives you a table of the open-ended responses showing you who said what and what their response was. So when you want to aggregate this data for any reason, like all of this is broken down by date and by occurrence and by person. And it shows you just a straight export of everybody's comments here. So like I said, this one's a very simple, basic 2-question survey. So I'll show you what this looks like in the trends. Trends is how this flow performs over time. So how participation happens over time, and then what are the trends in the data over time. So for this, you'll see this was the day that I was on everybody, please answer this, sending them reminders, all of this. And then, towards the end of the week, people get busy, things happen. So just kind of shows you the variations in the graph too. But ideally, when you have these things, you want to get as high of a participation rate as you can. So your graph might look a little bit more linear than this. And again, you see broken over time. So these are all of the occurrences that I've had, and it shows you little points throughout it. And then this shows you the unique respondents by week. So unique in this case means most of the times your flow can only be answered once. So everybody who answers will be a unique respondent. But if you have a flow where people can answer at any time and answer as many times as they want, they won't be counted double in this. You'll see how many people are answering, not how many times have they answered. That's what this graph means. And then percentage of blocks completed over time, because both of these questions are required and this flow is only 2 blocks, we have a nice 100% completion rate here. But if you were to have a flow with more questions and not all of them are required, you could start to see, okay, why are people skipping these blocks? Which blocks are getting skipped? And this will help you improve on your surveys as well. Understanding, where the drop off is. This will help you see that. So block by block, this is broken down by month at the moment. So it's just a dot right here because this demo flow has only been run in the month of March. So as the months move on, and this will be a more configurable time frame as we start to improve upon the beta, but this is broken down by month for now. And this is just our average answer over time. So our average for the month of March is 9.2, which is pretty solid. You want a 9 or a 10 on an eNPS. And then this is the participation rate for how many people have answered this. 100% of the people answered that above. This one's not as helpful sometimes for the open-ended block, but it can be with the different kinds of blocks as well that are more numerical in their responses. So this, another thing to note, we have this little banner here just to inform you when the insights update. Every hour on the hour, it will update for you. So at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and so on, that's when your data will refresh. Continuing to work through this example, we have the ability to filter by occurrences. So if you ran a first quarter employee NPS and you wanted to just see those results specifically, you could choose the occurrence start date and you could apply the filter and just see the data for that. So on this most recent occurrence today, we've only had 4 respondents and a 30% participation rate, which, the flow is still running, so people could still answer it today. And I see just on this occurrence who has responded. And again, you'll see the graphs just for that specific occurrence. So all 9s and 10s so far. And then the reasoning, the open-ended table down here to show you the results just for today. If I wanted to break this down by department, if I want to see how's engineering feeling about this, it gives us an idea. Okay, the engineering team has an overall, everybody picks 10 from engineering, and of the 9 times the engineers have responded, they've always said 10. So the engineers are extremely happy. And again, you can correlate that to the responses that they put in here. You can filter it by multiple departments. You can combine any of these together. If you wanted to see how managers respond versus non-managers, so we'll clear this and we'll do managers and we'll apply this here. This is overall data. So we have 3 managers answering this, and they're at an 8 and a 10. And then lastly, if you want to break it down, okay, say my team is Brooke, and I want to add in Katya, and I want to add in Josh. I can apply and see how my immediate team is doing. And all right, we've got some varying numbers. I definitely threw in some lower numbers for the sake of data, but I think overall we're pretty happy here. Yeah, so just kind of showing you the filtering options, and then you can also filter by date. If you want to look like, I want to look from January 1 to June 1, you can do that here as well. You can just select the date range here. So yes, that's how filtering works. This is one flow. One distinction to make here too. So we have the insights, which is the, the visualized way to see your data. We have a raw export right now in here, this download data option. And this will download just a straight Excel with all of the information. If you are a pivot table user or anything like that, you can get a raw export of any of this data at any time. You don't have to wait for on the hour, whatever. I think it updates every 5 minutes or something like that. Something that we will be adding to this is the ability to download these widgets as well. Like if you can take screenshots of this if you need them for presentations or anything, but we will be adding in functionality to export this data as well on a widget by widget basis. And widget, I mean just these individual sections. So if you're looking for that raw export, again, this is only available right now to Flow owners. In the future, in the near future, it will be available to other people that you can designate for this. So you click download data here, gives you an Excel. It'll download as a zip, and then you open the Excel file and you have all of the data at your hands.